Hello. Okay. This is hopefully a short one. Happy holidays, by the way, if anyone is watching this in real time. I wanted to talk a little bit about Vim mode because I knew that I'm trying. And I previously was not much of a heavy Vim user. I mean, I could do basic things like insert, and exit, which is a skill. Um, and that's about all I could do. But so the way that I recommend you getting into Vim is to go to VimTutor and then just go through this. It takes about half an hour. And then also go to the Thoughtbot on-ramp videos, which is their Thoughtbot's internal training tools, and these are very good for some high-level tips. But my main purpose for this is to convince you, just show you some nice things to use in VS Code. So you would ordinarily think that VS Code and Vim are competitors because they're both editors, but you can use Vim inside of VS Code, and it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And that's what I have going on here. So you can install Vim with the Vim emulation. Seems like I've got something to reload here, so I'm just going to reload it. And that's where you have it. You can also set a few of the settings in Vim. So they have a whole bunch of settings with some plugins that you may want to set as well. And those are all sort of icing on the cake. But just the default Vim settings, I think, is a productivity boost, which I would recommend checking out. Even if you're not a heavy Vim user and you're a VS Code user, I think it can be very beneficial. So I'm just going to highlight a few of the things that I learned, which can come in useful in everyday use. And what I really like about this is that it scales. Like the more you use this and it becomes muscle memory, and you repeat these actions hundreds of times a day, a week, a month, a year, it adds up in terms of time saved. So all right, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I like is, so I'm in Vim mode now, and you can see that it says normal mode here at the bottom. So I'm in normal mode in Vim. And if I type capital H, it brings me to the top of the screen. Capital M brings me to the middle of the screen, and capital L brings me to the low part of the screen. So the whole point is navigation without moving the mouse at all, and just moving. It's basically at the speed of thought, which is very nice. Also handy is navigation by word. So I can press W, and it just jumps through words. So it's better than left, right, up, down. You can just jump W's. And obviously Vim is just really good for navigation. So from here, if I wanted to jump jump to the equal sign, I just type F and then equal, and it jumps to the equal sign. So that's very good. And obviously B is the moving backward. And you can type 5B, for example, if you know how many words back you're moving. Also very handy is line insertion. So instead of clicking here and then entering and then continuing, you can start here, and then you can just go like capital O for inserting above, or small o for inserting below. So those are all sort of default Vim shortcuts, which are very, very nice. I also like combining some of these commands. So for example, here, actually, no. All right, then the last navigation I'll talk about, last two navigation things I'll talk about is searching. So I can type /, that's my leader key. You can customize your leader key as well. I have it to /, but some people have it in space. And then I can type whatever I'm searching for, so like state machine, right? And I hit enter. So my cursor is up here in line 23. If I type state machine, it just goes down to line 39 where the first match is found. And then I can type N and to find the two instances of it going on right now. So if I wanted to rename it, I typically, in my normal VS Code flow, I would typically be double clicking and then pressing Apple D. to find all the instances of stuff, and then and I can do that. But it sort of conflicts in visual mode in VS Code. So one thing that I've started doing is typing D, and then I can type whatever, like insert and new name, for example, and that's fine. And then the other thing that I would recommend trying out is also doing the combination stuff. So, for example, within here, I can type. Sorry, let's say I can type. That's undo, by the way. U is just an undo. Obviously, it's the same as Apple Z, but sort of it's a little bit, it can be buggy sometimes. So the undo. Sorry. So this part I really like. So if I wanted to change a word, so for example, I want to rename state machine to new name. For example, I just type CIW, and it deletes the word and just puts me in insert mode. And now I can say new name, and that's done. And then now I can chain that, right, to say, all right, I previously searched for state machine. I'm going to type n, small n now. It's going to bring me to the next instance of state machine. And since I'm on the next instance of state machine, I can just hit dot to do the exact same rename that I did earlier. So that's a very nice way to do renames and do just repetitive actions that you need to be done. Obviously, renaming is the most simple case of that. The final bit of navigation that I like to highlight is page up, page down, which is not available on a Mac. So this is Control Up, Control Down is helpful. Okay, Control U, Control D. Sorry. Okay, so and then we get to the text object commands, and these are things that I really like. So let's say I'm talking about field state, and instead of field state, I want to call it field prop, right? Whatever. I can type CE, and it deletes the that from where my cursor is to the end of the word, and I can just type prop, right? And I'm going to undo that. I can type CIW to rename the whole thing. And that's pretty interesting as well. And then let's say if I wanna rename this entire field within the object, right? I can type CI, so change inside whatever that container is. So here the container is a curly brace. I can type either the open or close curly brace, and that changes the whole container. So field number, whatever. If I'm refactoring. And if I wanted to reach the parenthesis, I can do CI. I have to make sure I'm in normal mode, and I can do CI parentheses. Oh, oops, CI parentheses, and then do whatever I want. Okay, so the C commands are really good, but it even works in JSX. So let's say, and I've just copied over this, function folder, and I'm changing it. I want to keep the wrapper tags, but I want to change everything inside it. I can type CIT, so change inside tag, and now I have a fresh tag. And these are all just like super common operations, right? Like you can see yourself using these things. Hello world, whatever. That's the stuff I really like. And let me just undo that. Let's say I don't want. Let's say I just want to. Let's say I'm inside of here, and I want to remove the tag that I'm in. Because if I type CIP here, I'm only removing anything inside the tag that I'm immediately in. So that may be not good. And maybe I want to remove the entire tag as well. So that's DAT or DIT. Well, it's like CAT or DAT. Every letter means something, and you'll learn the syntax. I'm just here to sell you the idea of using Vim mode in VS Code, and it seems a little bit alien, but when you see that these operations are so common, you might be interested in using them. Okay, and then to me that's like the most of it. As far as I'm concerned. But the other things that might be interesting to you are, for example, creating a new window. And there's existing VS Code commands for that. I don't actually know what they are, but this is useful in Vim alone, which is new, for example. It's good to not have an emoji utility. So that's horizontally new, and then you can also type vertically new as well, and that will set up your windows for you. You can navigate around these windows, and you can move the windows around as well. I think get it to right. Okay, well you can't move the windows around, but you can navigate the windows. So yeah, I mean, these are all interesting, productivity gains to be done with VS Code and Vim. And apart from that, it feels very normal. Like if I double click to edit, like you can just type it in. If I double click in here, like it feels seamless. And you don't get a reminder that you're using Vim mode, except for the odd occasion when you're in visual mode. In visual mode, sometimes like you're like, oh, I can start typing to edit this, but you can't because you're in visual mode. You have to delete or insert, and then change, and then you can type stuff. So that's the only nuance. Apart from that, it's pretty seamless. And then the benefits that you get from being able to say things like, okay, I want to delete these 12 lines, and then I'm just going to type 12 dd. That is pretty awesome, and I think it's worth checking out as a productivity tool inside of your VS Code. Yeah, let me know what your Vim tips are. I'm definitely a new user of Vim myself, but I regard this as an extension of VS Code that helps the development experience. All right, cool. Cheers. Happy New Year.